All right.
Yeah.
All right. Print World. I told you I was going to do it. It's here.
It is here.
Welcome to my studio, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the invite. This thing looked really nice.
Thank you, man. I put a lot of work into this, and it's been like a passion project almost.
Yeah.
You know, I've been doing podcasts for quite some time, not necessarily on my own, but like on other people's podcasts. And I was like, you know what, I want to do one of mine, you know, and I really before didn't understand like what type of topics that I want to talk about. So I didn't really lean into it too much.
Yeah.
But now I think that it just made sense. And, you know, I brought the idea to Merrill, which is our creative director. And he was like, yeah, man, how can we support you? So him and Ross were really, really cool with that. And here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, you told me about this. You told me about the vision. Now I'm seeing the reality.
Yeah, that's how I work with everything, man. So make sure you got some cord over here. You good? All right. So SEPS.io.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that?
Yeah, man. So we're, 11 months into this project, passion project?
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm going to say about 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, I stepped out of the shop environment, sold my shop, ran a rock shop. And like on the personal side, it was like a major life change, you know, moving out of the country, doing all of that. But I also wanted to always, you know, give back to the community because the community had like supported me for like in a major way. Like I didn't even like ask for it or I didn't even, and it was like a lot of love was given to me. So I always wanted to stay connected to the community and stay connected to the screen printing side. And of course, if there's an opportunity to build a business, I wanted to see what that would be about. So when I started thinking about, you know, how could I do that, I looked at the little skills that I have, right? The connections that I have, like some of the stuff that interests me, this made sense. SEPS.io did when I was thinking about it about a year ago. Because when I first started my shop, I'm not a graphic designer. So I struggle a lot with graphic designing for, you know, a growing shop. It came to a point where using freelancers wasn't like sustainable.
Yeah.
Me doing it myself was a major struggle, you know. It took me forever.
So the whole concept of SEPS.io was developed from a pain point that you had in your personal business.
I really built it
That's incredible.
For what I would like to have had when I ran my business. You know?
Yeah.
So, and just talking to other people, it was like, yeah, man, it's solving something that the industry really needs. As long as you could do it in a reliable way, make sure that, you know, it's done professionally, it's done respectably. So that's been my whole thing about building this, is doing this like, we could do it very simple, very reliable. I actually, you know, wanted to, in the beginning, grow it slowly because I wanted to learn more from like the first few customers that we got. Like give us like a lot of feedback, give us a bad, where do we like suck at? Like to really, like tell me.
You really wanted to trial, you know, with people and kind of get the paint, like the stuff that they're having trouble with in real time.
Yeah.
And assess it right away.
Exactly. So in the beginning, I kind of purposely didn't want to like push it out too much because I wanted that. And just so folks know, so when I ran my shop, I started building a small graphic design team already.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. I was holding that one in too.
Yeah. So that's how like I started just, it was really like, I started a year ago, but it's really been a 6-year journey because I was playing around with these guys that I would find like freelancers or whatever. And just learning how to work with those guys, learning how to like really like develop them, get them to the next level. So in my journey through my shop, I'm not. You could say I found a little secret to how to find those guys, train those guys, develop them guys, where now we could offer it to the industry in a scalable way.
That's awesome. So, I mean, what made you want to leave your print shop to pursue this journey?
Yeah, good question. So, a couple of things. It was personal and professional at the same time, right? So, at the time when the decision was made to leave my print shop, our print shop was actually at its highest, like money-wise. Was very busy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
We had gone through like the election season.
Mm-hmm.
And we had got a lot of business from that. So we was doing good, like in the books, and our bank looked good, right? But at the same time, while our business was going up, personally, my wife was going through some struggles,
Mm-hmm.
like medically, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had just given birth to our kid, and so we have 3 kids, and third pregnancy didn't go so well. So it was a struggle for her. She needed a lot of just help from me to help out with more of the home stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of weighing me down because I'm here like chasing my dream with the shop, making money, like to get your shop to be like making money. That's what you want when you start your shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had put a lot of energy behind that. And then while that started happening, the home situation started going down. So I was like, man, let's just, come on. Like,
Yeah.
Come on. I spent 5 years building this. I'm just now getting,
Yeah, you're at the apex. You got the ball rolling.
Trying to enjoy this thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, it was too much of it was an easy decision. It was like, it doesn't matter how much money it is. Like, you can't let your home fall apart.
Yeah.
And trying to like chase money or whatever. So that's when the decision was made. It was going through my mind, and other situation was going on. I was in the middle of joining this other shop because we was gonna partner together.
Mm-hmm.
And we had conversation about, hey, how about you guys? This is what's going on here personally, right? My head and my commitment may not be here fully, like at the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So how about we work out a deal? And we worked out a deal.
Good for you.
They bought our situation and gave me some time, free time to focus on personal stuff.
Yeah, what really mattered.
Yeah. So,
but in that same, it's almost, I don't want to say your wife's medical situation was a blessing, but it kind of forced you into a different situation that you had to build a business model that you could. It was congruent with your lifestyle at that moment.
Yeah, I think it's hard going through like the painful stuff, but I guess life is built this way. You have to go through the painful stuff in order for you to get to the greener pasture, right?
Yeah.
So
it just raises your level of awareness, of what's going on around you. You still have a dream that you want to pursue. The path may have changed direction a little bit, but the dream is still there, and you're still involved in the industry. Yeah. And you're still, if anything, you're probably doing more for the industry because you're not just in one place. Now you're able to move around a little bit, and you're able to be there for your family more often.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win right now.
Yeah.
Still a lot of major challenges ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like getting the business to be super sustainable. We still like in early stage with our situation. But I'm liking the progress so far.
Mm-hmm.
I am liking, some days I like working from home. Some days it's not. When the kids are crying, I can't make calls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like being from home. And it gives me more flexibility. I could be more creative in my mind. I could be, I wouldn't call it flex, but I could like show to myself what I could do, right? And sometimes if you are stuck, like in a stationary situation, you're not able to do that. So right now it gives me the flexibility to move around, test some stuff, be more free in my mind, like actually attack the stuff that I truly want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's like, hey, I see this project here, I want to do it, I'm going to put some energy behind it and do it. When you're stationary, sometimes you can't do that.
Well, yeah, you have to do everything from home base.
Yeah.
And that, for myself in my screen print career, I felt I had more to give to the industry, but I was bound to my shop and the production schedule.
Yeah.
So that was what always came first. And the stuff that I'm actually good at, that I like doing, pretty much never got to get done.
Yeah.
So working here, I'm able to do those things. I actually get to spread myself all over the place and be able to help people all over the place, as opposed to just trying to do it from one spot.
That's true. And that's not because, like, I think running a shop is a, like, super important and super honorable profession.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so this is not a knock on running a shop. Like, it's like, I love running my shop. I love running my shop. And I think screen printers are offering, like, something that is super valuable to just all the industries. And, like, the job that we're doing is, like, helping people start businesses.
Absolutely.
Helping people make money, helping people celebrate this special event, what's going on, right? So it's an important thing. But, like, you just have to find, where do you fit in that whole puzzle?
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly. There has to be the printers, there has to be the owners, there has to be the manager styles, and then there's the people that move around more. There's the people that are at the conventions. There's a place everywhere inside this industry. It's not all specific to just being in a shop, but it's all revolved around a shop.
Exactly. So I think for me, having run a shop, it gave me almost this advantage. Like, if I were to start this new startup, SEPSIO, without having that experience, first of all, I probably wouldn't even know about it. So I would never have started it. Like, I wouldn't have known about the problem. I wouldn't have known about the industry. I wouldn't have known you. So it's like, a lot of time you have to have, like, that field experience and that hands-on experience, and this industry get ink under your nail.
I like that term.
Really, like, understand what's going on. And to run a shop where it's super busy and your employees are not there to support you, or you, like, get an art that's pretty bad and it's, like, causing you to, like, do a bunch of setup and making a bunch of mistakes. So having like, live in that seat. So now, where I am now, more like in a support role, like, I would never want to mess up a shop.
but does being in that support role, does that speak to your interest more so than running a shop?
I think so. Because, it fits my lifestyle better. Because I think my lifestyle, even when we was running our shop, we traveled a lot. Like, me and my wife, we traveled a lot. We made it a part of our life to, although, we don't have a lot of cash. So we ain't rich, by the way. We don't have a lot of cash. We challenge ourselves to almost reverse the way we see things. Like, usually the story you hear is, like, work, get to 60, retire and travel, right? And early on, we, I guess from stuff that we've seen, that kind of influenced us. Was like, that's, like, not the best path, because if you work, you get to, like, 50, 60, your body's broken. You can't travel. You can't really.
The experience isn't the same.
Yeah,
that's called a deferred lifestyle. So you work all the way and you wait till here to start living. And granted, I mean, those of us who are aware of our mortality, your card can be pulled at any time. So if you're sitting there deferring your lifestyle to the end of your, the last quarter of your life or the last third of your life, you might not even get to that point. So why would you even wait? You have to treat every day that way.
Exactly, man. Because, like, once you get older, you want to chill a little bit, and you're more conservative, and it's probably the right thing to do, because you don't have that much energy flowing through your body anymore. Maybe your earning power is not that great anymore. So I guess you should chill a little bit, or it makes sense to chill a little bit. Not that you should. But in your young years, you could take more risk, right? And even if it doesn't work out, you could bounce back, take more risk, bounce back.
You have plenty of time.
Yeah, a little bit more time. Something could happen today. But, like,
hopefully not.
on average, you could live a little bit longer and stuff like that. So yeah, it does fit our life a little bit better. This type of profession, being able to, and it allows me also to apply the skills that I've learned and like gain in my life, which is mainly like building and training people, right? So, and that's really just passing knowledge from one person to the next. So it allows me to do that now, like building the team, and I could do that from anywhere, right?
Well, in this day and age, yeah.
Yeah, as long as there's internet, like we get on a video call, we get on a phone call or whatever. So the learning don't stop, the work don't stop, and the money don't stop either.
Let me ask you, what separates SEPS.io from other companies similar in your industry?
Yeah, we're different. Like, first of all, we're different. I created it, right? It comes from a owner that ran a shop. So I think that's the first thing. Also, there's a different mentality at SEPS.io. Our mentality is more simple and reliable, right? Try to keep everything as minimalistic as possible, both in the inside and also the way that we communicate with our customer, the way that we send the stuff to the customer. And right now, I don't know that we fully understand like what the whole situation is. It's still a learning progress. But I do want to keep that core as part of our business. Keep things simple. Approach everything from like a respect point of view. And when I say respect, it's more like the burden is on me. It's like, am I respecting myself? Like to do the work that I need to do, train my people the way I need to train them. So it's like that. So it's a self thing, but also at the same time expect respect, like from the community as well, right? Because like with like our team, like let's say the key people that's in our team, the message I tell them is like, if you don't take yourself serious, nobody's gonna take you serious. Like, and you take yourself serious by respecting yourself and by learning, by doing the work that other people doesn't want to do, by knowing what you're trying to accomplish, right? Like try to get as clear as possible on that. So that's, and also to them, because like, and everybody knows our team is foreign people, a lot of them, right? They're not like mainly U.S. based, and sometimes it's scary for a foreign person to work with a U.S. based customer or a U.S. based customer base, because the culture is a little bit different. So sometimes they take a little bit of like shy mindset. So my message to them is like, always come with this through the lens of respect. Respect the customer, but respect yourself. Your work will speak for itself. As long as, so my job is more to introduce the industry to this. I know where we're good at. I know where we're not good at. So
that's good.
Introduce the industry to this and build a relationship. And the folks that want to stick around, they will. And the folks that we're not a good fit, it's not a good fit.
Well, so what has been your biggest obstacle or kind of pain point, I guess, in your growth?
Yeah. So since we started this, is just, so art, like trying to do art is crazy because like there's so much variable to control, right? And trying to like build what is the true scope of this product that we're offering. Right, because the market is gonna demand one thing, and what the market may demand is wild. It could be wild. Like you can't really, like offer it in a sustainable way. You could try to offer it, but it's like, can you scale it? Can you grow it where your team could like repeat this on right? So trying to get a good handle on the scope is a challenge, right? Because you have to know what you're good at. You have to know what, even sometimes you could do like some crazy art and stuff like that, even for like for our team. sometimes, like at what expense though? Like, because if we take on crazy art, that just slows down the whole process, right? But at the same time, do we want to say no, like, and leave money on the table? So I would say that's been like the major challenge, is trying to know exactly what we want to offer, explain that clearly to the customer. Hey, this is what we're about. This is where we could help you out at, and this is where we cannot help you out at. In the beginning.
So just make the terms clear from the beginning. Like, look, these are our strengths. These are our weaknesses.
Yeah.
Hopefully what you're doing leans into our strengths.
Yeah. And I always believe in the future we could grow because like my whole thing is running a business that's through systems and process. And can we repeat it? Like creative arts is super hard to be repeated the next time. It's like, because every artist has a different style, right? Like your style is different from my style, it's different from the next guy's style, and it's different from the other guy's style. Like, how do you source all these people that has all these different style? Like,
so do you kind of categorize, all right, this is something that's sim process. I think this guy's better at that, so I'll shoot him the sim process stuff. Or I think this girl's over here, she's better at spot color and those type of separations, so I send those type of tasks to her.
Yeah, so year one has been and the inside is more of a learning process, like how to distribute the job internally, right? So we've tried different things where the art would come in and we'd assign it based on complexity and based on the artist's seniority or what we feel, or it could be where we've tested where one graphic artist would handle a shop, but that shop would be limited to what that graphic artist is capable of doing. So,
which model has been the most successful?
The second model has been more successful.
One artist to a shop?
Yeah, because then the artist learns the shop over time, and the shop also learns the artist and find that middle. But it comes with some risk because you're dealing with a person, because that person could get sick. That person is going to need days off or whatever for his or her personal stuff. So so you got always, even if it's that person, it's still got to be like backups that is ready to step in, even though it's not that same level or that same style, but at least production could continue going. So that's why, like, if the scope is clean, where in the inside, if the scope is clean where everybody could understand it, then everybody has the base knowledge. Even like if you don't have the style that the customer may like, but at least you have the base knowledge, you could do 70-80% of the art. I think that's a win. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I want to understand you a little bit better. You're somebody who's really interesting to me.
Not interesting to me.
Well, I think that you offer a different texture to the industry, and that's something that I pay attention to people like that. I know special people when I see them, and you definitely have the characteristics and energy of somebody special and different that will make a long-term impact in the industry. Let me ask you, why do you do any of this? Why do you bother?
Yeah. I think, I don't think I'm special.
So you have to.
Yeah. I just think, yeah. So why do I do it, right?
Because I know for myself personally, if it's something that doesn't put energy into me, if it drains energy from me, I don't typically like to do it. So I do things that give me energy, and I can see that this project does that for you.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm trying not to reveal something, but to answer this, I may have to. So I have a life vision, what I see for myself, and I see this is the path that I need to travel, or at least I need to slay some dragons before I could get there, and this is part of it, right? So it's a personal thing. It's a personal thing that I need to like prove to myself what I can do and what challenges I could overcome, what I could accomplish and stuff like that. So it's more of a selfish, personal thing, like super selfish.
Yeah, I think that when you're on journeys like this, like you're on, you're very self-aware of being on a journey and your position in that. Not a lot of people are. They just kind of, some people just get lucky and are good at business, but don't realize what they're doing with their life and their journey here on Earth. And with you, I think that you're more aware of that. And what was the point I was trying to get at? I forget, but go ahead, carry on.
Yeah, so I was like, whenever I speak to, so now I speak to more shop owners, and I'm starting to see some of the problems that they have in their business because we talk frankly about it. And a lot of it is just lack of clarity around that, like around their life vision and also their business vision. Like, create your life vision. That will be like what holds you down, like really tight, right? And then try to build your business where it could like lined up, even if it's not a perfect lined up, or it could be like adjacent to what your life vision is. Then your business will have a different vibe, and your business will feels more clear to you, and you won't feel lost doing your business.
That's really well said.
And the business could fail. Like most business fail. Like most business fail.
I feel like that's a part of it though. You are supposed to fail. Unfortunately, it hurts. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what determines your character. Are you going to stand back up and try again? Yeah. Or are you going to allow that to determine, your future is I'm just a failure and I'll never make anything of myself?
Those failures hurt, man. Those failures hurt. Sometimes you need time to just bounce back, and you need time to like, oh my God, that was hurt.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, in general, time is just a man-made conception anyways. So it doesn't matter if you're starting over at 20 or if you're starting over at 30, 40, 50, 60. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're starting and you're moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I
think people feed themselves the excuse like, oh, I'm getting too old or whatever it may be. But that's just in your head.
Yeah.
I
do think that. I do think sometimes like, I think of time, like I think of like, because like I wanted to have a family at a certain time in my mind. I wanted to have certain amount of money in the bank at a certain time. So I think about time and like where I am. Like, this may sound bad. I had this conversation with, I don't know if you remember Ryan Moore. I told him like, when I look around, I don't see I don't see a lot of people like me like living a long time. So I know like my time may not be long on this earth, right? That's just observation that I made. Just like, so the time that I have now is like, hey, let's go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's called the present for a reason.
Yeah.
So it is a present. It is a gift to you, and what you do with it is your choice.
Yeah.
You can sit around and watch Netflix, or you can build something that your heart's pulling you to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that, I think what I was trying to say earlier that I forgot what I was saying was those getting hurt and all those things during your journey is, like I said, is more of the character building part of it. And you can build on that and take lessons from your past mistakes. And, another thing I've always told people is, people call L's losses. Oh, I took an L. I took a loss. Yeah. But if you just change the perspective on it, it's not a loss. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
So I didn't take. I took an L in the sense of I took a lesson out of this.
Yeah.
And if your perspective is that you took a loss, then yeah, you lost. But if it's like, okay, I made these were the parts where I made this error, and I'll make sure I correct that and don't do that again. And hopefully you didn't put yourself in a corner to where you can't back yourself or get yourself out of it. But most of the time you're pretty good. You can, no matter what money, you can lose it all and you'll still be alive and you can carry on. Yeah. There's so many different things that a business, you can lose it all, but you can stand back up and carry on again. And I think that's special people understand that, and they can leverage that type of pain. When you lose everything, you're like, nah, I'm never letting that happen again. I'm going to go bigger, stronger, and I'm going to develop my resources smarter.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Cause like, it's not original to me. I heard it probably like through the internet or something. Like you don't learn from your wins. Like your wins feel so good. Like it's like this, but when you lose, you go down like this, right? So that's painful. You want to quickly get back to that. Like, and as you going like this, you don't want to get back to that. So whatever took you down here, what was it? Man, there was a rock there, and I tripped on it. I'm looking for rocks now, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's just how a kid learns. You tell them don't touch the fire, but then they touch it. No, I don't want to do that again. So, I mean, it's similar in any situation. That's just how you learn. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people learn. They say a smart guy learns from his own mistakes, but a wise person learns from other people's mistakes. Yeah. But a lot of us, I feel like we have to be the smart guy and just learn from our own mistakes. Yeah. I'm hard-headed in that regard. I feel like everybody has a different way they like to learn. Yeah. And I do pay attention to see what other people are doing and what not to do. But sometimes I'll fall into my own trap, but I always learn. Because
you're not, you could see it, but you're not feeling it. Because you need that. What's missing is the emotion. Wow,
that really well said.
So, because you'll see the person and they fail, but you don't feel that pain that they felt, right? I never thought about that. But when you fall, you feel you saw the fall, you felt the fall, and because it's really like the emotion is what you remember. Man, that felt really good. Oh, man, I had a good time with this guy. Oh, man, this guy treated me really good. Or this guy treated me really bad. Like, most everything else is kind of a blur, but you remember those peaks and emotion.
So with growing and losing, I guess you could say, there is a common denominator that I've always noticed, and that's the circle of people you keep around you. I speak on that pretty frequently as far as I strategically put people around me that I know I can benefit them and they can benefit me. I don't try to get into a situation where it's a win-loss or a loss-win. Like if you're friends with me, I'm going to bring you down. I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation. But I try to keep myself in proximity to people who are doing, I would say, a little bit better than me. Yeah. And there are people who are doing way better than me. But I feel like I can communicate to the people at a high level as well, to where they don't feel like they're losing by, being my friend or whatever. Yeah. But I definitely do not keep people around me that I feel would bring me down. Yeah. Is that something you do cautiously or consciously?
Yeah. So I've never had like a big group of friends, right? Even when I think back of like high school, I had a couple of friends that I was really good. And we had like real good relationship. We did sports together and stuff like that. So my circle of friends has always been small in my life. Even and right now, like personal friends, it's still mainly those guys that are my personal friend. Now I have more, business friends and business connections. But having people having people around you that are smarter, having people around you that could level you up, is super important. And I go out looking for that. I go out looking for people that could help me level up. But my way of doing it is like this. Like for example, if I know somebody I want to connect with because I see what they're doing and I either want some of their influence or stuff like that, I'll approach it with the mindset of like, how can I help them? Right. And how can I help them even if what I want doesn't come true, or I don't get it? Because then if you do that, like people are receptive. Most people are receptive to that instead of like, oh man, I just want to be a friend because you have 100,000 followers on. Yeah,
well, they probably wouldn't be friends with you if that were the case.
Yeah, but sometimes you could, there's people that's very good at like, manipulating the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely narrowing. Like I narrow down my friendships to the people that I really want in my circle. But I think that's that's it.
Are you a reader?
I am a listener of books.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's all one and the same. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Are books kind of your thing?
Yeah, books are my thing. I would say so. So my first couple of years in college, I did really good. Like my grades was like, I was like in the honor or whatever thing, right? So you could almost say a geek. And then I started working, moved up through the professional ranks or whatever. And I actually left school. So I got a 2-year degree. I left school. And my dad's in my ear, man, you got to go finish your school. Like, I'm telling my dad, hey, I'm making more money than my professor. Like, you tripping right now. So true. You tripping.
So true.
Yeah, but he was like, no, you got to go and do it. And my second half to complete my degree, my 4-year degree, I struggled because, like, I felt like I was stepping back. So I didn't read a lot, right, during that time because I was, like, more my professional thing, right, in a corporate situation. But then when I started my entrepreneurial journey, there was so much problem, and I didn't, like, know all the solution. I had a decent foundation because I had run a lot of business, but when you're doing it by yourself, it's mainly your small network and your voice in your head.
Yep.
So I found books to be friends. We were just talking about friends. Those books became my friend. Because, like, because the way I would look at it is, like, I would pop in a book, like, let's say on my way to the shop, that whatever I was hearing from that book, that dominated my mind for the whole day, probably.
Yes, sir.
Like, right? And so it would be, say, one of my favorite book was Start With Why by Simon Sinek. So that book, like, when I first started, I'm glad that it was one of the first book I read when I started, so because it gave me a good foundation. Then I just got heavy into a lot of different books. So in the past couple of years, I probably have done like over 50 books.
That's
just
awesome.
like self-help books, systems and process. So my top 5 books, so Simon, Start With Why is one. E-Myth Revisited by Michael E. Gerber. That gives you a good foundation on how to build a business that you could pass on or that you could really run without it dominating you. So that's another book. I read this book by Gino Wickman. It's called Traction, the Entrepreneur Operating System. Awesome book. Systemology. This book by this British guy. His name is David Jennings. Super, super awesome book. I love a lot of the books that Mike Michalowicz, Profit First, Fix This Next.
Did you read Fix This Next?
I read Fix This Next.
One thing, the biggest takeaway that I had from that book was the pyramid, the hierarchy of the business, and the top of it being your impact on the world. Yeah. That really, like, that was something that changed my perspective greatly.
Yeah. That guy he's a business genius.
Yeah.
Like
I'm really impressed by that.
How is one man coming up with all these framework and system, and they all work? Yeah. They all work.
Yeah. They're almost timeless too.
Yeah.
You know, I think that you could read that in 20 years from now and it would still apply.
I read his latest book, Get Different. It's a marketing book. How you gotta, like, just position yourself differently in a marketplace because you're gonna get drowned out if you're not different. Yep. So that one was really good.
It's awesome, man. So let me ask you 2 more questions.
Yeah, man.
What is your worst habit that you have that you're working on or that you wish you were working on? Yeah. And what is your best habit that you have that benefits you the most?
So I'll say worst habit right now. So if my wife's listening to this, she's going to. So I'll say I have to, cell phone. I just have to not give it so much power. So
what's something that you feel you can do to kind of fix that situation?
It's not hard. I mean, you just got to do it because the cell phone is almost like a drug. Some people, they'll drink coffee.
That is a 100% drug.
Yeah. Some people, they'll drink coffee. Some people will do actual drugs. Yeah. But this stupid cell phone now is crazy, man. Like,
do you feel that you might be missing out on something if you don't answer right away or no right away?
So for good thing. So when I was like in the groundworks of building SEPS.io, I literally went off the grid for like 4 months. No social media, very little phone. My phone number, like I had the phone number, but my phone wasn't ringing. Like, so people was calling me. They didn't know, like, where were you? Like, they only could get through me through, I don't know if they had like my WhatsApp or something. I kept my WhatsApp on. And I felt during that time, I got so much done. Like, I was able to build the foundation of something that I could build on forever, right? Or for a long time. And as you build your business, you're going to have so much things to do and so much distraction. And part of building a business is like the marketing side. It requires social media. It requires a lot of this. So what I told myself is, all right, I need to be on social media, connecting and stuff like that. So that's the excuse I gave myself to be like on my phone. But in reality, it's like there was no guardrails around that, right? So sometimes just like, because when you're on your phone, you don't see how the time is moving.
Mm-hmm.
And the time could just move and like, yo, really? Did I just spend 15 minutes just watching that? Like, come on, man. Like, you're tripping. You're trying to.
Everybody can relate to this.
Like, if you serious about your life vision, trying to like, you can't let this little battle win.
Well, let me give you a piece of advice that I use because I have the same problem.
Yeah.
And this is something that I set my intention in the morning. And if you notice in my little office over there, I had everything I needed to have done that day. I wrote that's all that needs to be done today. And so having that list of things to do doesn't allow me the time to waste.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I feel like people just kind of go with the flow of the day. They know like they have like a broad idea of what needs to be done, but it's not very specific and dialed in. Yeah. I have a specific amount of tasks that move certain projects forward. And so there is no time. When I do get on social media, I jump in and jump right back out. I go in there, assess notifications, DMs and stuff. Yeah. I might hit a couple likes and just to show love. And then boom, I'm right back out in between tasks. Yeah. And I just stay focused on that. And I know what my intention is early in the morning. I set it like, okay, this is who I need to be today. Yeah. And these are the things that need to get done. So nothing else matters in that. Yeah.
I want to challenge that a little bit though.
Sure.
So the challenge to that is like, all right, so you pop into social media. Because like, again, this is not original to me. This is what I've learned over the years. Like, as human, our mind, we're not robots. Our mind doesn't switch on and off. Our mind lags. Right. So when we say do one task to switch to the next task, that's like a time in between that it takes for your brain to just release and then fully commit to the next thing. Right. So even the time when you just pop into social media, you're mentally, your phone's away, but the next task you haven't fully given your full self to that next task. So for me, it just needs to be cold, like to get away from that, and focus on. And my thing too, I don't want to accomplish a whole bunch of things in a day. I want to accomplish 1 or 2 things, and that's a good day. That's how I'm feeling now, and because I used to be a major task list guy. Hey, let's go. And I used to get a lot of joy just like completing a whole bunch of tasks, which is cool. But I lately, just through reading and through, it's like, hey, set a theme for the day and set one major thing that you want to accomplish for the day, and you do that, that's a win.
Yeah, 1% increment, daily increments compounded over time, for sure. That's huge. Yeah. For myself, it's 1% doing this project, 1% in this project, 1% in this project, gotcha. 1%. So like that's why my lists are made the way they are, is because I'm feeding multiple different situations that I'm building simultaneously. Yeah. I'm trying to show people that you can build multiple empires at the same time.
Gotcha.
And so I follow closely with like Ross and the way that he does things. I mean, look how many departments and moving pieces there are in this organization that move pretty fluidly.
Yeah.
You've got people like Ryan, brand builder of the year, of the century, of the decade, of the universe. Okay, that dude.
This guy's not a human.
But you understand this, and even with like Buck, our main service technician, he is juggling hundreds of shops, making sure everybody's good and taken care of, and people and processes and things like these guys. There's a lot of moving parts, and so I've joined this network with Ross, Ryan, and Buck, where we send each other our schedule for the week.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily like, all right, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. It's like this in this area. For instance, like Ryan has 5 different businesses he's aligned with. And so it's what's the major plays in each one of those throughout the week to move all these brands forward. And so I pay attention to those things, and then I kind of I've started molding my weeks in that same space. Same with Ross, same with Buck. They all kind of send, this is where we're doing in these areas this week. Yeah. And so we all email each other our weekly schedule and critique it, like, hey, what about this? Did you think about that? Yeah. That's a good idea. No, I didn't. So since I've been doing that, I've been, like I said, putting myself in close proximity to higher level people and seeing how it is that they can perform at the level they perform at and still be just regular dudes. And so with the strategy that I've been using, I've noticed a huge increase in a short window of trajectory, just going up in a lot of different places. And I was like, oh shit, this is how they're doing it, you know? And so that's why I make sure that at the end of the day, all of us, the most important thing to us is our families. Yeah. Okay. So how can I grow all these things as effectively and efficiently as possible to be able to be with my family and be present and not stress out about all these things going on around me? Yeah. And so these systems are developed to just knock out these projects and be efficient with your time that you are away from your family. If I'm away 8 hours a day or whatever, every moment that I'm doing that is going to be dedicated to advancing a lot of projects. Yeah. And then the rest of the time, I know I got everything done I was supposed to do. So what is there left to stress about? Yeah. I did everything I was supposed to do. I think a lot of times people go home with stressors because they didn't there's unfinished work and they didn't do what they know they were capable of. Yeah. You know, so you go home thinking about like, man, I could have done this, I could have done that. Yeah. And for me, it's like, I did all that already. You know what I mean? I can go home with a clear mind. Yeah, that's awesome. I actually read a book recently, talked about the same thing. Really? 12-week year, right? So is how to, like, instead, like, because like you said, time is just this man-made thing, right? Like, we'll go and celebrate the new year on January 1st. Why do we? Because everybody else does it. Yeah. If you really think about it, the new year starts in spring. The actual year starts in spring. It doesn't start in the middle of winter. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But that's a whole nother conversation. So you could flip the script and do it in your mind. It's like, all right, so my year, everybody has a 12-month year. I'll have a 12-week year. So that's my year. And that year, I'll grow the same. In my year, I'll grow the same amount that you grow. Mm-hmm. So it's a competition, sort of like that. So in one human calendar year that everybody has adopted, I've lived 4 years in my mind. Well, that's why I follow the 18-6 rule that I actually learned from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Believe it or not, when I was coming off of drugs and trying to figure out how to restructure my life and be who I knew I was supposed to be, I just happened to see this documentary on Arnold Schwarzenegger on Netflix about lifting, and he talks about he does 18 hours awake and 6 hours sleep. And so with that, you pretty much have 2 or 3 days in one day. You know, a lot of people prescribe to the 8-hour or 10-hour sleep schedule. Yeah. But if you think about that in a 24-hour cycle, 8 hours, that's a third of the day. Yeah. That's a third of your time. So if you expand that over your lifetime, that's a third of your life you're spent sleeping. Got it. So it took a while to adjust. I fought hard to get to 18 hours and only sleep 6 and get up. And I did this repeatedly over and over and over. Yeah. And then I realized how much stuff I can get done in a single day and still be fully like a family man and I can take care of myself. I can take care of my mind. I can take care of my body. I can take care of my business. I can take care of my relationships and my family. And there was time for all this. Yeah. I wasn't shuffling around trying to get all these things done in, you know, a 14-hour day or 16-hour day. Like you know, whatever it is, but I have 18 full hours. So I got basically 6 hours can be dedicated to myself, 6 hours can be dedicated to my business, and 6 hours can be dedicated to my relationships.
Yeah.
You know?
We waste a lot of time.
Exactly. So that's why I really try to gain as many experiences as I can in a single day. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like anybody who watches me on social media can see it's just non-fucking stop for me.
And energy's high.
Yeah.
I don't even want to keep up. So,
but I'm chill. Gotcha. I'm not over here stressed out, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the things that I can do, man. And it's just because I designed my life to be that way. Yeah. You know, there's things that I'm definitely weak at that I can get better at, and that I try to, like, I have a good support system, like my wife. She lets me know, like, hey, man, what's up with this and this?
Yeah.
Damn, you're right. All right.
Yeah.
And she helps me. Like I'm, although my level of self-awareness is pretty high, it's not perfect by any means. You know, there's things that I may have tunnel vision on that I'm not seeing someone else's perspective on. Yeah. And so I'm the type of person that accepts constructive criticism well, or criticism in general. Like, I can listen to somebody say something, and if I think it applies to me, you know,
from the right person.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody's just saying, oh, you're this and this and this, like, well, you really don't understand me and my intentions. So maybe you perceive it that way, but that's not really what it is, you know? And then there's people who I respect that will say, like, for instance, I was at dinner with Ross, and I was having a conversation about something that was bothering me. And he's like, well, you know, Richard, instead of just plowing through things like you do and just getting it done, you're missing out on an opportunity to teach people around you how to do what you do, instead of, like, being frustrated that they're not moving at your pace. And I was like, oh shit. That's major. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, it was a huge moment. Like, I literally sat back in my seat, like my heart dropped. I was like, man, I didn't realize that I was doing it that way and that it was perceived that way, you know? So I took that and I changed the way I did I moved after that. Yeah. You know?
I'm feeling like that. That's major, Ross.
Yeah. Thank you, Ross, man. Like,
I feel like that. Sometimes you just got to slow down and just chill.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. I appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you so much,
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me here.
For sure. All right. We're signing out.
Let's go.